Hi guys, this is Courtney from Lil's Bloom, and I am back with a full moon reading for the full moon in Capricorn that's happening on July 3rd at 11 degrees and 18 seconds of Capricorn. And a full moon, of course, indicates that the sun and the moon are opposite each other. So we are currently in Cancer season, which means the sun is moving through the sign of Cancer. So happy birthday to all my Cancers out there. And the sun is illuminating the moon in Capricorn. So whenever we have a full moon, there's usually some kind of realization, culmination of something, or an actualization of something, because the moon is really a part of our subconscious in many ways, or the unconscious, and it has a lot to do with fertility. And when the sun shines on it, it's like we're reaching this peak, we're reaching this very fertile moment where something can sprout, where something can show itself above the ground, where the things that we've been working on behind the scenes are suddenly becoming visible. And I feel like there is something related to a Capricorn full moon, especially where our previous efforts are starting to show a little bit here. And that's because Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn, and it is a very karmic, timely planet. So anytime we have Saturn involved, there is usually some amount of what you give is what you get, or what you reap is what you sow. And I think that's what we're going to experience at this full moon. And I was looking at the Sabian symbol from 11 to 12 degrees, and it was talking about basically the word was exploitation, like exploiting nature and using our resources and our technology and our brains to exploit kind of the nature and the world around us to get the results and the outcome that we're looking for to survive and then have dominion over things, which of course has many negative effects. But what I'm getting from this full moon is that as a more positive way to look at that ideology, especially because this full moon is making a beautiful trine to Jupiter, which is also in an earth sign in Taurus. And so there's definitely a theme around earth and abundance and being provided for. And again, what you reap is what you sow. So what you plant is what you get out of the earth. And I think that there's some kind of analogies that we can have here around not exploiting in the negative sense, but really positively benefiting from and taking advantage of the resources and things that we have around us now to make our future plans fully ripen and to really utilize all of the tools and resources that are here for ourselves. And that means that we're going to continue to follow through on things. That means that we're going to continue to put in effort. That means that we're going to be disciplined and diligent. And we might get a sign of some of those efforts paying off, or we might get some extra resources or tools or gifts to help kind of move us forward on our path. And that can be the sign in and of itself. But regardless, it's trying to keep us going. It's trying to keep us continuously investing into something and really extrapolating the best things out of the experiences that we're going through. And that's kind of how I'm seeing the word exploiting. It's like we're taking all of the best things and using it to our advantage, but in a positive way, in a way that furthers our society, in a way that is morally aligned and is purposeful, in a way that feels like it's in integrity. These are all very Jupiterian topics. And so we want to make sure that not only are we moving forward, not only are we taking advantage of the tools and things available to us right now, the signs, the synchronicities, the confirmations, but that we're continuously moving in a direction that feels like it is uplifting to society, that feels like it's something that we can morally get behind and not have to question ourselves. And the sun being in the sign of Cancer, Mercury is also conjunct the sun in Cancer. It really gives us an intuitive sense of how to navigate this, how to basically go about these next few steps along our path. And it's not necessarily about rushing the process either. And sometimes with full moons, there can be more of a realization around if we're not where we want to be quite yet, like what is still standing in our way. We can have more illumination around the hindrances on the path, on our path. And with the sun being in the sign of Cancer, there can be some hindrances around, you know, fear of rejection or fear of putting yourself out there emotionally and being let down, fear of trusting your intuition and it not leading you to the right direction. It's almost like if I'm vulnerable, if I really do go after what I truly desire, if I say the thing that I really mean, if I take a chance on this, am I going to get hurt by that? And so some of us might actually have questions around that. We might wonder, if I take these steps forward that are being illuminated to me, what could be the possible consequences of that? And so I feel like there are shadowy emotions that can linger, even though this is relatively a very positive full moon for the most part. There are other aspects going on that to me indicate that there are some shadowy emotions that feel like they are things that we are repressing, things that we're not wanting to look at. You know, if I don't ask those questions, if I don't address this thing, then maybe it's okay. Maybe I won't have to feel what I'm scared to feel. So that's a potential here that we might have to face as we look at what lies ahead on our journey. Because I really feel like this is just a step in a longer journey. And if this aspects your chart on a personal level, you might notice that you have some bigger enlightenments or some bigger kind of check boxes where things start working out a little bit more in your favor. And you're really like, okay, I am definitely on the right path. But still there's more to go even after that. And to reach for more, to continue on, to take that risk involves an emotional risk. And I think becoming more aware, intimately aware of anything that we might be emotionally repressing about reaching for those things is kind of part of what this full moon is trying to enlighten us about, which is why, you know, Mercury and the sun are together in Cancer. They're trying to inform us and enlighten us about our subconscious mind, about our unconscious drives, about the fears that are kind of hidden within our ancestry, even our family, the things that we've passed down, the beliefs that we've been passed down around, you know, if I reach for more, this is what will happen. So that's definitely an element of this full moon. But the other element is really just having things continue on and continue to grow and have signs that you are on the right path. And one of the cards I pulled was fertility. And it says to nurture what is around you and you will reap what you sow. The wisdom of nature is at the forefront, and answers, discoveries, and inspiration will be found there for you. So there's really a strong emphasis on nature at this particular full moon, especially with this being an earth sign, and it's making a beautiful trine to Jupiter and Taurus, which is a sign for me that is most connected to the earth. So it is very much trying to tell you also that there is like a cyclical nature to these things, a karmic nature, a natural timing, and we can look to nature around us to see more clearly how things unfold in that cyclical way, to look for signs maybe in symbols in nature, commune out in nature and feel like we're connecting to it. Because I do feel like there's answers there for us, and it'll probably be more individual, like it'll be different for each one of us, but I do feel like there's answers for us outdoors. And the more present and connected we are into the moment and what's around us physically, I think the more we will benefit from a transit like this, with especially this year with Jupiter being in Taurus anyway. It says plan well, stick with things, and look after those around you. So plan well, stick with things. So I think that there is a need here for us to continue on. Like I was saying, Capricorn is about longevity, a duration, and not giving up. And so we very much are being asked to continue to progress. And it's just, I feel like it's just kind of encouraging us along our path, whichever thing that we're trying to reach towards. And I'll go over what that looks like for all the signs, what you might be trying to achieve or build upon. One of the things that it also says in this card is that challenges may be a failure to connect with others and inauthenticity. And I find that interesting because one of the semi-concerning aspects of this full moon is that we have Venus and Mars together in Leo making a square to Uranus. And this is kind of a very abrupt and dysfunctional energy around relationships where we have kind of competing needs all wrapped up into one. And if there has been any level of inauthenticity, when Venus is making a square to Uranus, that can become clear, especially when we've rejected aspects of ourselves in order to belong or in order to fit certain standards or not rock the boat. We will become much more aware of that inauthenticity during this period of time. And with Venus and Mars really coming together in the sign of Leo, it's trying to bring out more of what we really desire, more of what we want to create out of life. And if there are certain relational patterns, self-worth patterns, esteem patterns, or patterns in regards to money and value, those will become very, very clear. Or if we've been in the Mars energy and we've been maybe too self-driven, too impulsive, too unaware of the impact on others and not fully guided by our value systems, we might become aware of how that needs to change. So this can be, again, quite disruptive for relationships and money situations. We might find that kind of like sudden or erratic things happen. And for some reason, I'm getting the first two cards that came out are the Three of Swords and Three of Cups. So it really feels like there is, I mean, since these two cards had three in them, this might just be a message for like one person out there. But there seems to be a strong relation to three, like triangles, like three people in a group, or three events or something. But I'm really getting a sense that there's like three people, and maybe something will happen during this time socially between you and two other people, or between three people in your life. And that could look different for many different people, but there's something around like a three kind of relationship where maybe there's some kind of imbalance, or there's something that could come up to be addressed. But regardless, that's just, I think, a small message for someone out there. But the Three of Swords and the Three of Cups in reverse, I feel like is really speaking to this Venus-Mars conjunction square Uranus, where one of the things about this aspect is there is almost like a revolution or a revolt towards independence. So if there has been ways in which you've kind of settled or made do or looked the other way in relationships with people, or even your relationship with yourself, if you felt like you've really kind of ignored certain emotions that you felt, not addressed certain things, I really feel like it's going to come bubbling up to the surface through your relationships or through your financial struggles. And you might have some things kind of radically hit you in the face a little bit, where it's like, okay, I really have to address this. And you may feel like you want to pull away from connections a little bit more. It is a little bit more of a time to focus on the self and to become more individuated. And even though the sun is in Cancer, which is a lot about nurturing, I think this period of time is more nurturing of the self. And I think that there is a process where we're needing to kind of go on a journey within to realize how maybe certain ways that we've gone about relationships or gone about our ways of going towards our goals or our level of self-esteem or those emotions that we've not been addressing. I feel like it's time to kind of go within our shell and actually look at those in a little bit more detail. There could be elements where there are social aspects to this as well. It doesn't just have to mean that we're all alone. But I really feel like I'm getting this image of someone almost like a seagull, like taking a pebble and just like turning it all around and looking at all of the different sides and facets of that pebble. So I feel like there's something inside of us, some kind of like root or core of something, or some pebble in our shoe, or something that is maybe getting in the way of our progress, or is maybe unsustainable in our relationships or in our self-esteem. There's something about that that I feel like needs some time to be processed and looked at from different angles, and looked at it in a more detailed way, and again, really kind of observing it from a different perspective than normal. So maybe somebody will say something socially, or something will come up in your life around this time that gives you the ability to turn something on its head, either in your relationships or, again, in terms of you pursuing your goals. I really feel like something's going to come up that is going to make you think about things differently. But in general, I feel like because of this, there is a beautiful trine from this moon to Jupiter. In general, I feel like we're moving into a more expansive period of time. And it's usually when we're going into expansion that we are sometimes needing to ground, because we're going to take on more energetically, more vibrationally, and we have to be able to sustain that physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So there's a grounding element, and that's why I think there's such a focus on nature. But there's also usually some type of like shedding of an old layer in order to build a new one. And that's what I see this Venus-Mars conjunction square Uranus as. Maybe it's going to look different for many different people, but maybe socially you have relationships change. Maybe you have a creative change of heart. Maybe you just want to approach your relationship with yourself differently. Maybe it's your sexuality. I don't want to pinpoint a specific example, because really it can be so many things. But there's something in that facet of our life with this conjunction and square where I feel like we're really being called to end something that felt like it gave us anxiety. So if you've ever had nightmares about something, sleepless nights, if you've ever wondered how things were going to get better, if you've really ruminated over and over again about that thing, I feel like this is why we're having to change our perspective for some healing, because we've looked at it the same way over and over and again. It's kind of like it's going around in a dryer and just like the same thoughts. And we're needing to change the narrative and look at it differently, and then fully end a cycle by observing it with truth and clarity. And that's what Uranus can provide. And Mars is really helpful in ending cycles. Mars and Saturn. Mars is like, I really have to cut something out of my life, or stop a certain behavior, or start a certain behavior. You know, maybe you're not taking a certain action that you need to take. And Uranus can come in here and have us awaken to whatever truth and realization it is about that behavior that we are or we're not doing. And it can have us put a stop to that cycle. And I really, again, think it's coming from looking at things from a different lens and a different perspective than before. So I know this is all kind of like very philosophical at this point, and I am going to go through this for all of the signs, so we'll get a better idea of what this looks like. But I do think that I'm not getting a huge energy from this full moon in general. I'm not feeling like particularly inspired by it in terms of having a really long reading, which means that it's just not generating a ton of energy astrologically. Also, because this aspect with Venus and Mars squaring Uranus is something I talked about in my last reading as well. It's kind of been going on. It's not just at this full moon. So there's that to keep in mind. But I will say that this feels relevant in like this big picture way of thinking, especially because Pluto is also squaring the nodes at this point in time. And yes, it's going to continue to square the nodes for a little bit. But what I'm trying to say with this is that the things that are happening right now, the signs and synchronicities that are coming through, the confirmation that we're on the right path, or the tools and resources that can inform how to take advantage of this path the most, those things are all very faded, and they're all having this larger kind of evolutionary push towards a specific direction. And Pluto and the nodes really give that sense of this is fate, this is destiny, this is evolution happening. But this is a square also. And so there is some friction in this evolution. And I think that's why we have to again, turn our perspective on something in our lives, because it's not just completely harmonious. We're being gifted lots of things, but at the same time, we need to know what to do with those gifts. And we can't just continue the same narrative and using like new tools in an old paradigm. We have to up level the paradigm. And I think that's what this square with Pluto is trying to help us do. It's trying to get us to maybe dig a little bit deeper within ourselves to understand what our current paradigm is, so that we can shift it, so that the tools then match where we're trying to go, and everything kind of aligns in a way that makes more sense. So that's what I'm seeing. Again, I feel like this was very like philosophical, but I'm hoping that that message comes through for some of you. But let's go ahead and look at what this is going to be for all of the rising signs. You can also watch for your sun sign. The rising sign is a little bit more relevant, but the sun sign, I personally always find some relevancy there, and I think that they're helpful to kind of blend together. So let's go ahead and jump into that now. And if you like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. All right, so first we have Aries Rising. So this full moon is happening in your 10th house and is trining Jupiter in your 2nd house. And one of the things that I was immediately seeing when I pulled some cards here for you guys, which is the 6 of Wands and 2 Swords in reverse, was really this feeling of you guys coming into clarity around especially financial matters, but anything also that can help you have some kind of like public esteem. So this could look like you having clarity around your career direction. This could look like you becoming, maybe getting some kind of recognition for something that you did right or did well. But for some reason, I'm getting the sense of, with this full moon being in the 10th house and the 6 of Wands, both of these are a lot about prominence and visibility. So there's something here around visibility, but that somehow that visibility, prominence, or kind of like reassurance or praise for something that you've done correctly then correlates to more self-understanding. Like, I'm not questioning this anymore. Maybe you were questioning if you were good at your job, or if you wanted to continue on in something, and it's feeling like the universe is giving you a nudge in that direction, saying, yes, 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 you're doing this right. You're doing this well. Keep going. You have luck on your side. And you might also get some kind of financial opportunity coming your way, especially with this abundance card and this trining Jupiter in the 2nd house of finances. I feel like there is something clicking here with your wealth. And this could even be wealth in non-material terms. So you feeling at peace, you feeling like you are confident in yourself. I'm really getting the sense of more sureness, more confidence, like a sure step moving forward, and not as much kind of deliberation about something. I feel like maybe if there was a question on your mind, it's coming more into a settled state, and there is some type of abundance that you're reaping from that. And again, that could be just a feeling of being confident, or it could be that your decision is going to lead you to some kind of abundance. But there is a relationship here between your inner knowing, your way forward, and how that will lead you to more and more wealth. So you can trust your intuition. You can trust if there are kind of like opportunities that pop up to make money. Maybe you find that like you get mailed a check, or you get these weird kind of, again, synchronistic moments where something comes through for you financially. And this is saying that you can trust your intuition about all of these things. You can trust what to do with the money. You can trust that it came because of that reason that you think it's coming, or it's confirming what you think it's confirming. And it's really trying to like gas you up in a way. Like, I'm really getting the sense of the universe encouraging you right now, being like, you got this, keep going. You can trust in this. You can make more money from this. You can really lean into this visibility or responsibility or leadership that is being called of you now. And of course, we're going to have the nodes, the North Node about to shift into your sign. So this is really just a foreshadowing of all the beautiful things that is to come. And so some of you guys might feel like you have, again, some kind of career progression, goal progression. You might feel like more of a fire is lit within you, more of a passion, enthusiasm. Maybe you have a plan, some kind of clarity, and again, confirmation that you are on the right path. You also have Venus and Mars in the 5th house squaring Uranus in the 2nd house. So this is a little bit more volatile energy that we're all experiencing, that we've experienced also at the last new moon as well. So it's not particularly new per se. But I feel like this is really trying to get you guys to connect to feelings of abundance. I did pull the Page of Swords and the Empress. I think there's a lot of kind of creative visions coming through for you. Maybe you wake up in the middle of the night with an idea or even a visualization about something that you could do, something that you could leap towards. And this is really trying to get you almost to take a little bit of a risk. There's a slightly impulsive nature with, you know, especially Venus and Mars being in the 5th house, being in a fire sign, Uranus being the 2nd house, which is the 2nd house is more conservative, more about preserving things. But with Uranus there, it's like, let's take this chance, let's innovate. So if there's something here that you want to like try that's new or that could lend you towards feeling more abundant, take a risk on that. Pursue that creative idea, write it down, don't just let it go away. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing for you, Aries. If that resonates, please let me know by commenting down below. I love to read all of your comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want a reading from me, you can check me out at willowsbloom.com. And I hope you have a great day. Bye. All right, up next we have Taurus Rising and Sun. So for you guys, this full moon's happening in your 9th house, making a trine to Jupiter in your 1st, which is all giving me very, very positive energies. But I will say, I think that there is quite a bit of volatility here as well. And that's because we have Uranus in your 1st house, which is making a square to Venus and Mars conjunct in your 4th. So let me break this all down for you, because we're having some like really, really positive stuff and then some volatile stuff. And I think what this is doing is heralding in some change by removing old. And I kind of talked about this as like a shedding of a skin at the beginning of the overview if you haven't seen that. But we start off in the cards with the Queen of Pentacles here. And I really feel like this is represented by the full moon trining Jupiter in the 1st, where you are in a process of growth and reaching for more. The 9th house, Jupiter, they have overlapping tendencies of being able to achieve more, strive for more, wanting more, envisioning more, feeling more connected to our purpose, our why, our mission, and things that are spiritually driven as well. These are not just things that we want for wanting them, but they're also fitting into a larger kind of tapestry with the whole energy of the universe and with the world and people around us. So there is this feeling of I can have more, and I can see the direction that I can go in, and I can see maybe my finances growing. I can see myself becoming more stable. I can envision the future. Maybe I'm getting a sign or synchronicity or some more money coming in that is showing me this, path forward to maybe more finances or more growth or more notoriety, or even giving the potential to teach something that you've known for a long time, share some kind of wisdom, or even learn something that will take you to the next level. But there is this capacity of growth, of financial stability, of, again, the sense of more that I feel like is the positive side of this full moon for you. And Capricorn is quite a stabilizing energy. So this is something that you have worked towards for a while. And it's really something that you've put in the effort into for many months, many years, maybe even decades. And you're starting to see how there can be some greater potential for the seeds that you've sown. Maybe they're not only bearing fruit, but you're also thinking how you can pick that fruit, plant them, and start a whole orchard. So it's like multiplying what you've been given. And I feel like that's what's feeling like a potential for you right now. But I did also pull this duality card, and we do also have this kind of volatile Uranus energy in your sign, in your 1st house. So not only are you growing, but you're also really needing to change, because anytime we are up leveling, we can't just approach situations from that same perspective. We can't just evolve and also stay the same. We can't grow and continue to wear our old clothes. And there's just a natural kind of process of needing to break away from old things in our life. And it might feel a little bit unnatural with Uranus, only because it has a little bit more of an abrupt energy, and there could just be a little bit of this kind of like shoving you into a new life a little bit. So yeah, not to say that that's happening, but there can be this feeling of, okay, my life is going really well in this area, and I'm seeing how I can evolve and grow, and things can get better. But then maybe this other area of my life is falling apart, or maybe I'm really having to end or change up things in this area, and that actually feels really scary to me when that sense of stability there has been reassuring to me in the past. So I'm really feeling like you guys are having to let go, and it's almost like you're having to let go of something that you've held on to on a really identity level. And this could be connected to your home, your place of living, or your family members, or people that you live with, or any kind of like habit or thing that has existed in your emotions for a long time. And it's being thrust out into the open after being hidden for so long. And it's saying, this thing is ending. This thing is changing. It might be something you can control, and it might be something you can't control. But regardless, it feels like it's something that is irreversible. Like once it does end, there's no going back. And I feel like that's what this duality is saying, is that you're growing and reaching and striving for more. But in that same instance, you're also having some kind of death in your life, some kind of, you know, metaphorical or literal, but you know what I mean? Like there's something dying off in order to make room for that new. And in that process, you're really maybe needing to kind of take a pause to heal, or maybe needing to, again, look at things from a different perspective. If you haven't watched the overview, please do that. But you might need to look at things from a different perspective in that situation in order to kind of fully accept and make peace with what is leaving your life. And again, I think that this is very much related to something that you've tied your identity to. So let's say you've been living in a place for a long time. Maybe something is changing with where you live. Maybe the city that you live in is changing, or the people that you live with or your family members are undergoing some kind of change, and there's no going back. There's no like turning back around and saying, oh yeah, I just want to like go back to the way things were. It's only moving on. And that's really what I'm seeing this full moon as. It's not super big deal, but it's like ushering us and pushing us along the path. And it's like, no, don't turn back. Keep going. Like you can do it. And this is a really big one for you because of this square to Uranus in your first. So blessings to you, Taurus. This could be uncomfortable. You are a fixed sign, and sometimes change is uncomfortable for a fixed sign. So I hope this one's okay for you. Feel free to comment down below if you want to share your experience. I really love to read them. They always help my practice, and they're interesting for other people to read as well if you feel open to that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're interested in a reading, you can check me out at willowsboom.com, and have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, up next we have Gemini Rising and Sun. So this full moon in Capricorn for you guys is happening in your 8th house, and it's making a beautiful trine to Jupiter in the 12th. And anytime the 8th and 12th houses are involved, and full moons especially, we usually see some type of like endings. But for you guys, it's not so much that I'm seeing an ending per se, but more of like a regrouping. You know, when you are going through lots of changes in life and you have maybe things added to your life, you can't always give everything all of your attention and energy at once. And so what I'm seeing here is a general need to reprioritize, to direct the energy into a different way. And because this is a full moon in the 8th house, there may be a need a little bit here to kind of sort through unresolved things in order to get to your new priorities. And the trine to Jupiter in the 12th is going to help you go within and really sit with yourself and observe your kind of inner landscape in order to make sense of the next step forward. I feel like you guys are maybe getting, in this process, you're going to be getting clearer about where you're headed next. But in order to do that, you have to withdraw your energy, withdraw a little bit of the pursuit, and build up some of the internal flame by, again, doing more of a soul searching type of thing. I'm also seeing something here that's completely unrelated that's talking about relationships. And I think that this personally has to do with another transit that's happening at the time of this full moon, which is Venus and Mars conjunct in your third house. So this is a very social energy. Venus and Mars tends to be very active together, especially in the third house. You might have more social engagements. You might be talking to more people, networking more, just quite literally like stirring up more conversations. And with this making a square to Uranus in the 12th house, I feel like it's almost trying to stir you out of a slumber and get you to collaborate a little bit more or be more present in your maybe local neighborhood or area, maybe doing something more with your friends or joining some kind of like group, or it feels a lot more collaborative. And I really see that with this agreement card. Maybe some of you guys are signing a contract and needing to kind of look over the agreements. That's kind of a separate thing. But I really feel like it's trying to bring you out of a shell. So if you've been really busy with something, or if you've directed your energy into one area, I feel like it's trying to pull you to kind of get out there a little bit and talk with maybe people around you, or kind of collaborate again in some kind of capacity, maybe make more friends, put yourself out there a little bit. And then there's also a contradicting energy at the same time of needing to also have space, really to be alone. So there's kind of like two different needs going on here. One is that something new is budding where, or maybe it's not new, or it could be new, but something is budding where you have the potential to work with somebody on something. And this could be a friend helping you with something. This could be meeting new people, or it could be like a literal work effort. But that's one thing. Another thing that's coming through is, again, this need to, if you're not kind of putting energy towards that, to put it into your own internal dialogue and like process to understand how all of this kind of fits into your long-term vision. So again, I feel like there's a reprioritization happening. And I think part of the new stuff that's coming in is through other people or through new relationships. And it's like, okay, well, where am I going to put my energy now? And again, I really feel like you guys are just checking in with like, what makes me feel passionate? What kind of new exciting endeavors do I want to venture out on? What risks do I want to take? What new horizons do I want to go to? And I really feel like you are not on the phase of actually pursuing that yet. It feels like you're almost being held in limbo until you can do that internal check-in with yourself and be like, okay, this is really what I want. This is really what's important to me. This is what's standing in my way of getting there. And I just saw 444. So very much tied to emotions. So if there's been something in your life where, you know, there's been emotional hiccups for you fully kind of committing to a new priority, that this is a time to address that. If there's something from the past, if there's any kind of fear, if there's debt, if there are any kind of like practical concerns, like financial concerns, let's address those. And then we can actually go out into the world. So I feel like you guys are definitely being asked to look at your finances, because I did pull the 9 of Pentacles. So I feel like this is trying to tell you that things are going to improve financially for you, especially with this being a full moon in the 8th house. You might get some kind of like random blessing because it's making a trine to Jupiter in the 12th from somebody that, I don't know, it's almost like you're being gifted something. There's an energy of like, charity, like you are receiving the charity of others. The 12th house and the 8th house are very much tied to receiving things that you aren't owed, but that are just given to you out of the goodness of someone's heart. So many of you guys might find that you are getting some kind of extra support financially right now, or some other kind of support. But I'm really seeing with this agreement card, the 9 of Pentacles, I feel like support is coming in from somebody else, and it's going to help you become financially stable, or it's going to help you like become more independent somehow. So I know that doesn't make much sense, but working with somebody can help you with independence. I know that those seem like contradictions. we also have the Two of Pentacles in reverse. And this card is really about, maybe there are some things where you've overcommitted yourself to. And this is why I was saying it might be a need to reprioritize, because the Nine of Pentacles is a very committed energy, and it knows kind of what it needs to do to get somewhere. And I feel like maybe there are things in your life that you've just taken on too much at once and you need to shift the attention. And then there will be another time in life later where you'll have to shift it back. But that's what life is about. We kind of put our spotlight in different areas. So for you right now, it's really about patching up anything that may stand in the way of your next success. So any insecurities, any financial weaknesses, anything in your life that feels like it's a loose end emotionally, especially, and then getting clear on where to direct the energy next, and maybe saying yes to the opportunity to collaborate with someone on something. So that is what I'm seeing for you, Gemini. If that resonates, please don't forget to comment down below. I love to read your comments about how this relates to your life. It helps my practice, and I think it helps other people as well. If you want a reading from me, check me out at willowsboom.com. I offer a couple different readings on there. And don't forget to subscribe, like, share with your friends, and have a great day. Bye. All right, up next we have Cancer Rising and Sun. So for you guys, this full moon is happening in your 7th house of relationships. That means the Sun and Mercury are in your sign right now. So in many ways, you have the spotlight on you this month. And it's really your opportunity to have more realizations about the self, to get more attention, to further your growth and development whenever the Sun is in your house. What does the Sun do? It helps plants grow. And so you guys are in a phase of growth right now. And refinement, which is the first card that I pulled for you guys. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. But ultimately, having a full moon in the 7th house is, of course, about relationships as well. So the Sun being in your 1st house means that there's always some element of you being drawn into focus right now. But with the moon in the 7th, where the Sun is directing its attention, you are focusing your attention on relationship growth, maybe relationship changes. And for some reason, there's some kind of, okay, wait, first of all, this moon is also making a trine to Jupiter in the 11th house, which is also related to relationships. So there's really, really, again, a heavy emphasis on relationships coming through here. And I feel like you are having the potential for things to really start manifesting in that area of your life, because wherever we have Jupiter is where we're going to get some kind of blessing. So you guys might have the potential to meet a new friend, to feel like you are more aware of the kinds of people you want to connect with. Maybe there are certain hobbies that you decide to pursue that leads to a friend down the road. Maybe you get some kind of like networking connection. Maybe you get a new client through a friend. There's a lot of ways that this can manifest, but there's generally an energy of being connected, to being set up, to being seen, and feeling like there is some kind of gift or green light or good sign, omen of positive things to come in your relationship dynamics. So that is what I'm seeing. Ultimately, I pulled a ton of cards for you. The last two were the 10 of Cups and the Magician, which I really feel like are trying to tell you good things are coming in your relationships. You have a lot to look forward to, even if it's not here right now, that those positive results, those connections, that love is something that you are going to be manifesting really soon. This intentionality, these things that you are changing in your mindset, what you're looking for, what you tolerate, how you interact with people. This is a karmic cycle leading back to more positive people who resonate with you. And that's because this is a full moon in Capricorn ruled by Saturn. What you reap is what you sow. So how you have been improving yourself in your life, how you've been focusing on your own growth, that will pour into your relationships and help you attract more positive partnerships, friendships, community, all of that jazz. But I am seeing something else going on here. And we are having Venus and Mars conjunct in your 2nd house, squaring Uranus in the 11th. So there is some kind of volatile energy. And this could be somehow in regards to finances and friends. So I don't know if that relates to you in some kind of way. Or maybe your finances and your future goals. Or maybe your self-worth and your friends and what you've tolerated. But there's something in this area that really is not like sustaining itself. That is really that has held you back in some kind of way. And I pulled the Eight of Swords in reverse, Nine of Wands, and Ace of Pentacles in reverse. And so I feel like there's something here where you are, it feels like there's some kind of like resistance to change, especially with this Ace of Pentacles in reverse. It feels like there's something where you maybe have not like taken an opportunity to the fullest extent. Or maybe there's some kind of situation in your life that you've been like holding on through, and even though it's like an uncomfortable situation or an uncomfortable relationship, but you've been kind of holding on to it and you haven't let it go, or maybe some kind of financial dynamic, or even some thought pattern with how you treat yourself. Maybe it's like been really persistent and something that's been hard to let go of. But I'm really getting the sense that it's almost like I'm getting the sense of like stagnation, not taking the opportunities, not moving forward with something. And the positive thing is that Eight of Swords is in reverse. So there's a feeling of you like taking the blindfold off and becoming aware of how you've gotten stuck in a cycle of like endurance, if that makes sense. Like, I have to endure this, I have to stick with this. And not realizing that actually you have full control over the situation and where you go and who you hang out with and what you tolerate, what you value, where you spend your money on, whatever it is in your life in particular. It's like you're taking the blindfold off and like, oh yeah, actually I'm realizing that I'm the one staying here. I'm the one staying in this fire. I'm the one persevering. And maybe there's been some benefits to that. I think when I saw this refinement card, it really gave me the energy of somebody who is of the visualization of somebody who is basically forming a diamond by all of this pressure and pressure and pressure. And that's kind of what I'm getting with the Nine of Wands. It's like there's some kind of pressure cooker that you've been in, either socially or in your relationship with yourself or financially, that has put immense pressure on you to refine you and make you shine and make you more multifaceted and complex and unique and understand many different perspectives of relationships and life and situations. And it's really kind of made you a more in-depth and like beautiful person. But I am getting the sense that this cycle is ready to come to an end. If you have been in the cycle of really hanging on, it's like, let's let go. Let's let go of that thing that we've used to as a coping mechanism. We've used to kind of preserve ourselves, give us security, or what's known and what's familiar. Let's let go of that. And let's make some adjustments to bring in the better relationships into our life, the more financial abundance and the more confidence and self-esteem. And so I really feel like there's a large kind of cycle ending that you're walking away from. I have so many cards related to endings. The Wheel of Fortune, the World, the Eight of Cups, Death. It's like this was always meant to happen. You were always meant to leave this behind. And then things are going to start looking better for you. With the Ten of Cups and the Magician ending your reading, you have the potential to really manifest the relationships and everything else that you're looking for. And you're realizing that the power is in your own hands. And you're stepping out of a cycle of being almost kind of like a victim to your circumstances. Not that you actually are, but just that you might have been stuck in a little bit of that phase of kind of development. And now you're actually growing out of that, and you're going to start reaping some of the rewards and benefits from that. So that is what I'm seeing for you, Cancer. I would really love to hear if this resonates, how it resonates, if this applies to your life. Please comment down below if it does. Don't forget to also like and subscribe, share with your friends. And if you want a reading from me, you can check me out at willisbloom.com. And I hope you have a great day. Bye. All right, up next we have Leo Rising and Sun. So for you guys, this full moon in Capricorn is in your 6th house of work, health, and daily routines. And this is, of course, a Capricorn full moon, which is ruled by Saturn. And this is a planet that is karmic in nature. What you reap is what you sow. And I'm really getting the sense here, especially because this full moon is trining Jupiter in your 10th house. I'm really getting the sense here that you are experiencing a period of more career success and financial abundance, or feeling like things are really moving forward for you. And this could, if you're in college, this could look like you getting really good grades and kind of getting an internship and knowing what next steps you want to take. If this is in your career, you might have more offers, you might move up in some way, you might have just more busyness, but it's really feeling like a culmination of positive things, especially with this Justice and this Empress card. It's definitely giving me the feeling of you've put energy into something and it's paying off. You've put in like the time, the dedication, the effort, and it's coming full circle for you to equal the state of abundance where you don't have to maybe like strive or stress or worry about the future of things, but it's actually feeling like it's finally just blooming and giving you the results for previous efforts, which is very, very beautiful. I do feel like this is kind of a more emotional time because I did pull this emotion card, and I'm really getting that there is some kind of other energy that's a little bit less positive for you in your life, because there's something that I feel like you're really needing to change here. And your Venus, and the reason I say this is because you have Venus and Mars conjunct in Leo in your first house. That's already a big deal and very energizing to the self and bringing a lot of awareness to the self, especially around relationships and our goals, our objectives, how we take action towards things, what we agree to, what we value. All those things just become highlighted at this time. But it's making a square to Uranus in your 10th house. So there's something in your life, especially related to what I just discussed, like how you take action towards things, what your goals are, what's happening in your relationships, what you're spending money on, what you're valuing, those little areas of life, those big areas of life. There's something in that you need to change, and especially on an identity level. So like when you say, I am someone who does this, or this is my goal, and you create your identity around that, you attach to something to give yourself meaning in your life, to feel secure, to feel like you know who you are. There's something in that attachment that has become outdated. And I'm really getting the feeling that you are resisting progress. You're resisting change. You're resisting moving forward, and you're almost ignoring your own intuition. And this emotion card, I think, is trying to tell you not only that you might experience more emotions, or that emotions can come out of nowhere, you're not sure why you feel certain ways, but I think it's primarily telling you that you're ignoring certain emotions that are acting as a guidepost to you. And I did pull the High Priestess in reverse, so there's something around your intuition that I feel like you're really not acknowledging. And with the Six of Cups upright, it's something that I think could also kind of come back all the way into our childhood, where you might have had to suppress certain feelings that you had as a kid, or feelings that you had even a few years ago, or just something from your past where something could have happened that triggered you, and now something could be coming up again that somehow relates to that, and you're not looking at it. Like, I'm refusing to recognize it. I'm gonna kind of like lie to myself, deceive myself, and in that way I don't have to move forward. In that way I don't have to address this. But this Venus and Mars conjunction is really stirring up so much energy because of its square to Uranus that you cannot help but see the truth. You cannot help but move forward. There is no way to just keep ignoring this. The energy is going to keep building and building, and the emotional side of things will keep building and building until you become unwell if you don't address this. So I think it's really trying to draw things to your attention in your life that may be a result of your unwillingness to detach from something that has been a part of who you are. And that's a scary thing to do. That's a hard thing to do. And I admire and have a lot of empathy for like what you're going through right now and how you're moving through it. But at the same time, I hope that you can see that what's on the other side of letting go of something, or of facing something, or of allowing something to change. What's on the other side of that is actually a lot more authenticity for yourself, a lot more feeling like your heart is open in an unbridled way, in a way that's fully received and loved by others, in a way that's fully received and loved by yourself. and there's a lot more potential for growth in that area. And so that is what I'm saying for you, Leo. I hope that resonates. If it does, please don't forget to comment down below. I love to read your comments and see how it relates to your life. Also, don't forget to subscribe and give me a thumbs up, share with your friends. And if you want a reading from me, check me out at willows.com and have a great day. Bye. All right, up next we have Virgo Rising and Sun. For you guys, this full moon in Capricorn is happening in your 5th house, trining Jupiter in the 9th. And I really like this for you guys because the 5th and the 9th houses tend to bring increases, tend to bring more positivity, more of a sense of joy, of a connection to maybe the people in our lives or what we're doing, maybe more gratitude, a feeling of abundance. And I'm really getting the sense that it's giving you this tranquility, like this peace of mind, feeling almost like you're just satisfied with where you are at in life right now, and grateful for certain things in your life. That doesn't mean that everything is perfect. That doesn't mean that there aren't things that you are uncomfortable with, but it's almost like this feeling of contentment, tranquility again, optimism, faith, really trusting a little bit more in life, following things that really light you up and that bring you joy. And it's creating a little bit of a sense of flow. And a moon in the 5th can also give you, I'm talking about this in terms of this full moon, I feel like it's giving us kind of like synchronicities and confirmations that we're on the right path. So with the moon in the 5th house, these synchronicities can come through your children, through your social environments, through creative ideas that flow to you, maybe a really inspiring piece of art that you see or a conversation that you have that kind of lights up a new idea in your brain. And there's just the potential for being more in kind of like the joys of the present moment and having things serendipitously come to you as a result of you not trying. And that's kind of like the most beautiful times, right? As we start to get visions, we start to get clarity, hope, and faith about what's next when we decide to finally like relinquish control or settle into some kind of energy where we accept things or we stop pushing and it's like things come to us. So really what I'm getting for you guys is I feel like you guys are awakening to a personal truth at this period of time. With the Queen of Swords and the Hermit together, I think that you guys are going on an inward journey to understand your own essence, to understand what you bring to the table, to understand what you really love out of life, what you really enjoy, what inspires you, what motivates you, what direction you want to grow in. And it's helping you really see your true north. Like, yes, this is me. Yes, this is what I want. It's almost like you're wiping off the fog on a mirror and you're seeing yourself for the first time in a while. And I am seeing with the Devil reversed and the Ace of Swords, there is something where there may be some things that you are that you have been attached to, though, that has kind of like perpetuated that lack of clarity before. The Ace of Swords in reverse says inner clarity, rethinking an idea, or clouded judgment. Yeah, so I really feel like there's something with this Devil in reverse that you have done that has kept you in a state of confusion. And it's really trying to help you relinquish that now. And this full moon is going to give you the blessings of clarity, but it's also going to ask you to shake free from what you've been doing that has been self-sabotaging and undermining your clarity. And I really see this because Venus and Mars are conjunct in your 12th house in Leo, squaring Uranus in the 9th. So the reason or the way that you gain the clarity and the truth that comes from Uranus being in the 9th house is by facing things in your life that you have used as distractions, that you have used as, again, a way to sabotage yourself or continue to perpetuate this uncertainty. And this is going to likely be around Venusian or Mars topics. So this could be, and this is especially around like you not knowing what you really, really want in your heart of hearts and following your passions because of the following reasons. So it could be related to, first of all, an inability to feel like you can just assert yourself and go after what you desire, feeling maybe shame around what you desire or disconnection. And there's something in your relationship with what you desire that could cloud your judgment of it and say, oh, I don't want it, or I'm not really going to take action on it. There's something around that action where you could be self-sabotaging or not taking the actions you need to take. This could also be related to relationships. So maybe you're in a relationship that's clouding your judgment. Maybe your relationship with money or your own self-esteem makes you feel like you can't have what you want. Venus is also around food, beauty, luxury. So maybe you have put too much emphasis on these things and you've distracted yourself. Something in your life, with this devil in reverse, something in your life has been used as a crutch, and it is now time to confront that. So you're about to go through a cycle of growth. And in order to do that cycle of growth, in order to have energy for that, you have to let go of the self-sabotaging tendencies. Maybe you have to eat better. Maybe you have to sleep better. Cut out toxic people, cut out toxic emotions and habits. Anything that's undermining you and undermining your success is being called into question. I'm also seeing like a different kind of energy. This is really interesting. I feel like this is a message more so coming from your cards rather than the astrology. But I have the Empress in reverse, Queen of Pentacles upright, and Strength in reverse. And there's some weird message coming through with this is that I feel like you guys are kind of switching modes, because the Empress in reverse and the Strength in reverse, they have complete opposite energies to me. The Empress is really about allowing abundance to flow to you and accepting and receiving things. It's a very Venusian, feminine energy. And the Strength in reverse really has to me a Mars energy that's like, I am going to hold on. I'm going to strive. I'm going to make this happen. And with both of these cards in reverse, I feel like you're letting go of both of those extremes. You are not pushing, and you are not just receiving either. You are the Queen of Pentacles, which is in the middle. You are creating stability and consistency and confidence, and also feeling abundant at the same time. So it has both, the best of both worlds. You're not like really pushing, and you're not like just like sinking back, be like, all right, I'm ready to receive. Like, you're having action and this sensation and feeling of abundance as you step towards something. So there's almost like this feeling of being sure-footed. Like, I know where I'm going, and I'm going to maybe rev up my engine more if you have been too in the passive mode, or if you've been too in the kind of striving mode. It's almost like you're allowing things to come in a little bit easier. You're trusting more. So it depends on where you're falling on that spectrum, but I'm getting a sense that you're kind of like finding an equilibrium here and really trusting in your ability to create the resources and things that you need in order to get where you're wanting to go. So that is what I'm seeing for you, Virgo. If that resonates, please don't forget to comment down below. I'd love to read your comments about how this pertains to your life. It actually really helps my practice. It really makes me smile every time I see a YouTube comment. That's nice. And also don't forget to like and subscribe and share with your friends. And if you're interested in having a reading, check me out at willowswomb.com. I have offered coaching there as well. And I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, up next we have Libra Rising. So for you guys, this full moon in Capricorn is happening in your 4th house. And the sun, of course, is opposite it right now in your 10th house. And so whenever we have a full moon in the 4th and 10th house axis, or for you, other cardinal signs, it does have a bigger impact and energy. It's felt a little bit more strongly. And right now you guys might be really kind of focusing on your goals, your career, your objectives, where you're going in life. But with this full moon in the 4th house, I think it's also really drawing your attention into your internal world and your intuition. And if there's something in regards to relationships or wanting to, I literally pulled this fertility card. So maybe there's something that you guys are wanting to give birth to with a partner or with somebody else, or collaborate to create something or bring something to life. I feel like this is trying to say that there might be some kind of signs during this period of time that is going to encourage that. This is making this, the beautiful part about this full moon is that it's making a trine to Jupiter in the 8th house. And so there could be something in regards to, again, some type of like working together or receiving help and support to bring something to life, to nourish something or nurture something. So this could look like, getting a loan to buy a house. Like that's something that you're doing in collaboration with the bank or a partner, for example. This could look like deciding that you want to have kids. This could look like you wanting to deepen some emotional intimacy and a relationship and connect further with somebody in your life. And that's something that you're deciding to do together and nurture together. So there's lots of ways that this can manifest on an emotional level and a physical level, and it's going to look different for everybody. But seeing as it's a full moon in the fourth house, it does involve usually some kind of like realization or culmination in the area of your home, your family, and your past, as well as emotions. So those areas of your life can start to have just something come up that's like showing you where you're headed, showing you where you're going. And I don't feel like this full moon is really about the destination already. It's more so like a signpost along the destination, an encouragement, a push in that direction. And so there could be something that comes through either financially or emotionally that offers some kind of support or confidence or kind of like check mark that you're on the right path. You can keep doing this. You can keep reaching for this, nurturing this, growing this, birthing this, whatever that thing is. So I feel like this is kind of trying to confirm that what you're feeling, those stirrings inside, especially if it's related to home or family or past or your emotions, if it's related to that, this is an especially strong confirmation to that area of your life. I'm also seeing something else. We have Venus and Mars, which Venus is your planetary ruler. Venus is together with Mars, which is also bringing it lots of energy. And it's in your 11th house and in Leo, and it's making a square to Uranus in the 11th. So I feel like there is something going on that needs some kind of adjustment. And I saw 222 and then I saw 333. So I'm definitely feeling like your angels and guides are trying to talk to you. And it's so weird because Jupiter in the 8th house, I feel like helps us become very in touch with our intuition. But there might be people in your life, there might be like a societal impact or groups, or just, I feel like there's some external influence that may kind of be at times not always helping you like hear your own voice clearly. And if that's the case, I mean, this doesn't have to be for everybody. This might be just a particular message, but if that's the case for you, this is really a time to open up to how you truly feel and be honest with how you truly feel with different people in your life. And not let other people's like influence get inside your head and not make you trust your own intuition. So that's one of the messages. Another message is that you may find that there are some things in relationships and friends and that sense of belonging that, and I just saw 444. So Jesus, there's a lot of like, I feel like your guides are really here. Let's just say that. But there might be like a conversation that you need to have or something that you need to be honest with yourself about how you really feel. And I see that with the Queen of Swords, especially, and like with Venus and Mars squaring Uranus, this is a very honest, open, and kind of an abrupt energy of like, we're going to just divulge everything. We're going to lay everything out on the table. So if there are any relationships in your life where there has been something that you haven't fully listened to within yourself or haven't expressed to within the relationship that needs the light of day, I feel like this is your chance to do so. With the High Priestess in reverse, I feel like there's something that there's like an inkling inside of yourself that you have not been honest about, either with others or with yourself. And it's time to like lay it all out there. It's time to clear the air or clear something up in some area of your relationships. And this could also be with like your long-term goals or kind of where you see your life unfolding. Maybe you've invested your energy into something that your intuition is telling you, go here or do this, and you're not listening fully. And it's time to be honest with yourself. You know, the 8th house is very, very like honest if we're willing to look at it. And a full moon being the 4th house is illuminating your emotions, your intuition, what's been hidden from deep within you, and it's trying to bring that out to the surface. So that is a lot of what this feels like, is just you becoming very honest and clear with yourself and with other people in your life, and getting confirmation about a certain path that you're on that you might work with somebody to achieve. Another thing that I'm seeing is I have the 10 of Wands and the 3 of Swords as a clarifier in reverse. So I think you guys might be coming into a phase of being a lot more emotionally accepting of yourself or of others. It really feels like more so yourself, but it feels like you're letting something go. You're letting go maybe criticism of yourself. You're letting go negative self-talk, fears, past wounds. Like you're lightening your load. That's what this feels like. You're lightening your load. And in that process of lightening your load and releasing those negative energies, it's like you're almost doing like a purge, and you're just like, again, it's kind of like if you knew you were going to die tomorrow, you would really want to clear things up with those that you loved, and you wouldn't hold on to things because there's nothing to hold on to anymore at that rate. And so I feel like there's kind of that energy, not that you're going to die, but just that there's an ending and truly a desire to put to bed the negative self-talk that has been kind of weighing on you, or actually, you know, I'm realizing this. For some reason, I interpret this as a 10 of Swords, and this is a 10 of Wands. So yeah, I feel like there's something about your heart that's trying to speak to you, and it's like kind of like tiring you out in some way. Let me pull a blind spot card, because I feel like this message is not super clear. And I will not stop until the message is clear. Okay. So we have 68. Hopefully this correlates. Self-harm. If you've drawn the sigil, you are currently self-harming. And the self-harming you are engaged in is not benefiting you or anyone else in the situation, and instead it's keeping you stuck. Okay, yeah, that's what the 3 of Swords in reverse is. It's self-harming through the way that we talk or think about ourselves. It's almost like your insecurities or the way that you're speaking to yourself is like exhausting you, which is kind of the feeling that I was getting. But what's beautiful about this full moon is that I feel like it's helping you come out of that, because it's making that trine to Jupiter in the 8th, which is trying to give you more confidence, more reassurance, more optimism, and helping you talk to yourself in a kinder way. We might tell ourselves that if we punish ourselves, we will never make the same mistake again, or that we can do penance and be more likely to restore a sense of our own goodness. We might use self-harm as a white flag. If we grew up in antagonistic households, we often learn that if we wounded ourselves, other people wouldn't have the occasion to wound us. We might constantly criticize ourselves, thinking that criticism will cause us to maintain perfection in our performance. Or we could blame ourselves for something that wasn't a fault to avoid the powerless feeling of being a victim. We might actually be hurting ourselves physically, or be making decisions that harm us in favor of others' best interests. That's what I was saying. I was like, I feel like other people were having some kind of influence, and there's a need to like reset that and put yourself first, or be like really honest in a situation with yourself or with others. This is going to look different for a lot of people. That's why I feel like the message is not super clear, but there's something about talking to yourself more nicely, looking at some situation with kinder eyes, and especially yourself, and not letting others like help you, not letting others lead you off your own path of intuition, but really trusting your own gut. That's what I'm seeing here. Okay, that was kind of like a long message for not a lot of clarity. I hope that makes sense. And if it does, please let me know down below so I can kind of piece all this together. I think that will really help me and other people here. And if you want a reading from me, check me out at willowsboom.com. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends, and have a great day. Bye. All right, up next we have Scorpio Rising and Sun. So for you guys, this full moon in Capricorn is happening in your 3rd house, making a beautiful trine to Jupiter in your 7th. And I really feel like if there's been kind of like a war or difficulty in your relationships, or if you've had to grow over, you know, certain conflicts with people, or even anxiety within yourself, I feel like this is a time that you're going to start to see that really start to calm down a little bit. Maybe you have had, there's a couple of different ways this can manifest. Maybe you've had strife in your relationships and you felt angrier. Maybe you felt a little bit of anxiety lately, maybe some life transitions or big decisions that you've had to make or big moves you've had to make has caused anxiety. Maybe you have had actually a need to address something that you haven't actually addressed, or have had some kind of tension inside of yourself that has needed to have some kind of outlet or be released. And I'm seeing this almost just dissipating. And I really feel like this is coming through in terms of your mind, communication, and relationships. So if you've had, relationships like more fighting, or if you've had more anxiety in regards to people or working with other people, I feel like there's something around that energy that's really calming down. Your perspective in regards to other people is calming down. We're about to have the nodes also shift very soon into a different sign. So you're really going to have a lot of that pressure taken off of you and your relationships, and that focus on this area of your life isn't going to be so intense. And I feel like it's really going to give you guys more spaciousness and more just peace in general. Maybe there was a decision that you needed to make, an agreement or contract that you needed to sign, or something going on in a relationship, and there's just like energy building around that and a lot to think about, and now it's dissipating. Now it's entering into a calmness. It's like it completed itself, like you made the decision or you had the argument or something happens where it's just no longer like on your mind or on the forefront, and it feels like you're getting a sense of what it feels like to just have that peace and calm and quiet. And I really see that with the Death and the Five of Wands in reverse, if you're curious about that. But it's really a whole mindset shift that I think is really being supported by new energies in your relationships in particular. Because again, this moon is trining Jupiter in the 7th, which is really beneficial to relationships or contracts and agreements. You guys also have Venus and Mars in your 10th house squaring Uranus in the 7th. So there is quite a bit of changeable energy and intenser energy coming into your career. And maybe you are going to kind of start a new job, or the contract that you're signing is somehow related to your work, or maybe you have emerging life goals that are going to be altered somehow a little bit. I'm really feeling like there's two different messages coming through. I have the Fool and the Knight of Pentacles, which are completely different energies. The Fool is a brand new start. The Knight of Pentacles is being right smack dab in the middle of something and investing in it continuously. So there's two messages here. First, with the Venus and Mars square Uranus, there is some kind of new beginning here that is desiring to be birthed into your career sector. And this has something to do with people that you work with, or contracts, or a partner. But there's something like, and it's not just career, but it's like your general objectives in life are somehow going to go, they're somehow going to be altered. And it does involve making a change, maybe to your relationship, or maybe you're going to work with somebody. But there's something going on here where you're having like a little bit of a new start in some capacity. And then with the Knight of Pentacles, it's saying that I feel like you're also going to be continuing on with something you've already done. Because really what I'm seeing here with this Capricorn full moon is that we're headed on a destination, and this is really encouraging us that we're on the right path. For you, this is really trying to hit home that your relationships are going well, and how you've been managing your mind is going well, and keep on keeping on with that. Like your current mindset about it is good. But then with like work and your objectives and your relationships, those are undergoing some transformations. Maybe you're going to meet new people and you're going to have a new job or a new life goal, and it's going to change up your friend group, or it's going to look different for everybody. But there's something here where you're going to need to make a change, but also continue on something you've already been doing. So I don't know what that looks like for you. Maybe you have one job and you're going to keep doing that thing, and then you add another job. Or maybe you have like a hobby on the side that you want to make money from, or, I don't know what it is, but there's some like new beginning within something that's already consistent and stable. Like maybe you have a new project opening up at work, or maybe it's something that you're adding on and you're also maintaining something old. So you'll know hopefully what I'm talking about, and maybe you can comment down below because I love to hear. But it's really trying to get you to make those changes, to open up to more of a different kind of perspective in your goals, and maybe allow other people to influence you in a way, like allow people in your life to offer suggestions and kind of listen or observe people around you and see, you know, what's I feel like other people are change makers. So there is some kind of catalyst for you. So what can you absorb or learn from other people in order to catalyze you to more of what you really want out of life? And for their example to help make it clear to you more about yourself, if that makes sense. We have the desire and the fertility card. So I really feel like this could be a time in which relationships are really fertile if that's something that you want. I really feel like it's also telling that you can have what you want with this desire and fertility card. Like what you want also wants you, and it's also a good time for this. And I think it's really trying to tell you to cultivate more of what feels exciting to you in your life goals and objectives, and not just like, oh, this is what I should do or be responsible. It's like, what makes me really excited? And maybe some of you want to have a kid and you want to think about that one day. Or maybe there's something else that you want to birth into the world that you're thinking about long term, or this new chapter of your life. And it does, again, require some adjustments in relationships in order to make that happen. But it's saying that if you can do that, this is very much available to you. So I hope that that's making sense. And, you know, you can kind of expect the unexpected with Mars and Uranus in a square involved in this, especially in like authority figures or other people in your life. They might do some kind of quirky stuff, but it's somehow going to lead you to understanding more of what you want, even if weird things kind of pop up out of nowhere. So again, if this resonates at all, and if you want to help clarify what this means for you, please comment down below. I would really love to hear. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And if you want a reading from me, check me out at williswim.com, and have a great day. Bye. All right. Up next, we have Sagittarius Rising and Sun. So this Capricorn full moon is happening in your second house, trining Jupiter in the sixth. And I'm seeing some pretty strong messages for you guys. But one of the things I'm seeing with this, which is such a positive, this aspect of the full moon is so positive with the trine to Jupiter. One of the things I'm seeing is really coming into a very solid place. And I feel like you guys are going to either have some kind of thing come through in your work or your career that is going to help you feel more confident and more financially stable. Maybe you guys are going to have some kind of physical thing come into your life that provides that stability. So this could look like buying a car, getting a house, buying I don't know, like a coaching sessions. There's something that you are gaining financially, but also you may invest financially into something that helps really build you up long term, that gives you more strength, stability, confidence. Just one of the things I'm seeing is like having a stronger foundation, and this really impacting you on a mental and emotional level as well. I feel like you guys are going to come into a state of a lot more peace and feeling like there is something more kind of settled or sure about your life or your future right now, as a result of this full moon. And it could just be like a small win. It doesn't have to be massive, like buying a house, but there could be just like some kind of small win that feels like it's giving your life a lot more stability, and it's going to inform you about maybe a better routine that you can have as well. So like, let's say, for example, you figure out like how to make more money, or you buy something in your life, it suddenly becomes integrated into your life. Maybe you work a little bit more, or you use this thing to help you with your own well-being, and it somehow can adjust and expand your work life, your responsibility, but also enhance your routine in a way. So it can make you understand how to structure your life in a way that's really supportive of you mentally and emotionally and physically. So yeah, I'm just seeing things become very like solidified for you in a very, very good way. especially financially. But then I'm also pulling these other cards that are very different. And one of them is the Tower and the other is the Fool. So I really feel like there's something going on here that is giving you a new start in your life. Maybe there is some kind of, to clarify with the Tower, I got the Four of Wands and the Knight of Cups. Maybe there is a relationship that you are calling into question right now, a living situation. Maybe there's something in your life that you initially wanted, like a wedding or a celebration of some sort, that, and especially with emotional connections or something in, it really feels like some kind of relationship or emotionally based event that you guys are maybe turning your back on, or that had some kind of big change with it, with the Tower, like some kind of fated event or something happens that kind of shakes up that area of your life. And I really see this as coming from Venus and Mars together in your ninth house. This is very much an energy of like, let's continue to grow, especially in our relationships. Does this relationship carry forward with me? Can I see this person being with me in the future? Does this event make sense with my life? Is this a wise decision? And is this aligned with my morals and my integrity and all of those things? And basically, we're kind of coming into terms with like, what is my belief? What do I want in my relationships with others? What do I want with my life? Is this making sense for my future? And this Venus and Mars in the ninth is also squaring Uranus in the sixth. And so it's like, well, my new structure, my new routine, my new kind of solid thing, does it fit with this person? Does it fit with where I see this going long term? Does it fit with this current belief? Does it fit with this desire? And there may need to be some adjustments either to those beliefs and those desires and those relationships, or the routine to kind of fit that thing into the structure that is going to be forming in your life. And so the Four of Wands and the Knight of Cups feel like something is changing in order for this to be more cohesive. So let me think of an example. So let's say, for example, you really want to, let's say you have a job and you get a promotion right now and you make more money, and that's kind of what this full moon is talking about, or you're feeling more financially savvy and you're saving and all of that. And you're kind of planning for your future and creating new financial routines for yourself. But then you decide that you want to study something, you want to do something new, and this is something that you feel like you really want to do, but there's not really like the way that you have your day currently structured and how much money you currently have, it doesn't fit. And so you're going to have to make some adjustments to either the idea of studying or the current schedule and current finances in order to fit that. So that's just an example, but that doesn't even involve relationships. So you can think of this through many different lenses. And of course, relationships are one of them. And I just saw 555. So some of you might be going through some kind of relationship breakup. That's not going to be the case for everybody by any means. But I just feel like you're almost needing to put your focus, and I literally did pull this card, I feel like you need to put your focus somewhere else. And maybe you've been spending so much time focusing on like what makes you feel good and what being in the moment and celebrating and following your passions and joys. And this Tower card might come and say, it's time to plan more long term. It's time to think more stably. Time to think about the future. And if this makes sense with our future, if this aligns with your vision, and adjust your routine, your schedule to kind of be improved and fit that. So that might be part of what this is about, but it's going to look different for everybody. And I see here with this Fool card that there's really a chance for you to come into a new beginning in your life. And I think that's a lot around what this Focus card has to say, along with hope, which is, of course, let's have hope about where we're going. But that's what I feel like this is saying, is like, let's focus on the potential, the future, where you're wanting to go, with this sense of not only hope, but also like a desire to create a plan and do it and follow through. Yeah. So I feel like your life is trying to become more solid and more defined and stable. And in order for it to do that, you first need to make some changes to your beliefs or to your relationships or to your routine, but there's something about that that's needs adjusting. Some of it's going to have to fall away, and the focus is going to have to change and become future oriented. So one more thing, I also pulled this victory card, which has 44 on it. So maybe some of you are having some kind of victory on the home front. Or yeah, maybe there's just something going on with feeling more financially stable or more stable in many ways. And this is saying that you're experiencing a victory right now. So that is what I'm seeing for you, Sagittarius. If this resonates, please let me know down below. Comment so I can see how it actually pertains to your life, because I would really love to hear. And if you want a reading from me, check me out at willisboom.com. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends so that people can find me. And I hope you have a great day. Bye. All right, up next we have Capricorn Rising and Sun. This full moon is happening in your first house, and the Sun is in your seventh house of relationships opposite the moon. This moon is also making a beautiful trine to Jupiter in your fifth house, and I will say that I feel like it's really awakening this inner child within you and the sense of happiness and feeling more fulfilled and inspired than usual. I got this happiness card. It really does feel like you guys are just being encouraged on the path that you're on, that you're doing great. You have been progressing, you've been making the right choices, and it's time to feel like you are more alive. It's time to really soak up the sun and feel the enjoyment of being present and being playful and feeling like life is not maybe so serious or so intense. And I really feel like you're getting your passion back for life, your zest back for life in many different ways. I pulled the Knight of Wands, which is very much an energy of like enthusiasm and excitement and creativity. And I feel like you guys are really letting go of past hurts, past pains, past resentments. You're putting those things to bed. And I can really see that with Venus and Mars in the eighth house together, making a square to Uranus in the fifth. You are sacrificing that connection to your wounding, to the pain, in the name of being more innocent and pure and childlike. And you're like really, sacrificing it, putting on the bed of fire and being like, this has served me, like maintaining my connection to this pain has served me in some ways. And now it's time for me to release it, to move on and just metabolize that wisdom and carry that with me forward without all of the negative feelings that I had to process. And I really feel like for you guys, this is going to enter you into a new era where you're really more in love with yourself than ever. I think it's going to help you put an end to also living in misalignment with your own values and your own integrity. And I feel like it's going to help you feel like you are making the right decisions for your own life based off of your own desires and needs, and that you're having even more clarity around relationships and people in your life than before, and really able to make decisions from that place of clarity instead of maybe sacrificing, some parts of yourself or making do or trying to make other people feel better or doing things that are really for others. Like, I really feel like this is, even though the sun is in your seventh and there is an emphasis on relationships, I feel like it's more so because the sun is shining on the moon. It's really shining on you and your development as a soul, as a person with your identity in this world. And it's trying to bring out, an ending to things that felt maybe not harmonious in your relationships or in your own relationship with yourself. Things that felt like they were, again, out of alignment, that they were imbalanced, that they were inauthentic. There's something about that I feel like you're really checking in with yourself and you're realizing it and you're being very honest with yourself and seeing what actually feels good, what actually feels right, just like a kid would. A kid that doesn't already have wounding, it doesn't like feel ashamed for what it wants. It doesn't think always about everybody else and what everybody else wants them to do. It's very like in its own essence, and it knows what direction to go in, what it's craving, what not to do based off of its desires. And I feel like you're becoming more in tune with that. You're becoming more in tune with your heart, your inner fire, your own desires, And because of this, it's growing your happiness and is helping you shift your fate into a more fortuitous kind of path. It's like life feels lighter right now, and it feels, again, more alive. And I think it's because you've decided to let go of past pain or resentments or anger towards others, and you've really decided to become just like lighthearted. And people feel that, and the world feels that, and it helps you align with the best and highest possible path. And so I feel like this Capricorn full moon is really just about us being encouraged on whatever path we're on. And for you in particular, this is your path towards your relationship with yourself. And it's really encouraging you that you're doing the right things to keep going and to keep moving in a way that makes you feel more and more childlike and lighthearted as you can. So that is what I'm seeing for you. If this resonates and you want to kind of share with me anything that is pertaining to your life, then please comment down below. I would really love to read that. Don't forget to also give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Share with your friends so more people can find it. And if you want a reading from me, don't forget to check me out at willowsbloom.com, and have a great day. Bye. All right, up next we have Aquarius Rising and Sun. So this full moon in Capricorn is in your 12th house. And I am getting, the first card I pulled was the Eight of Cups, and this is a very 12th house energy to it. I have been saying to other groups that I feel like this full moon has really been about giving us like a signpost, a synchronicity, an encouragement to continue along the path that we're on, to feel like we have the support that we need and that we're doing things right. But with a full moon in the 12th, there's always some element of needing to let something go or walk away from something. And that might also be encouraging you on like the larger ultimate path. Like maybe you're on a detour and it's time to let go of that detour to reignite or realign yourself with your larger ultimate path. And so the moon in the 12th here is really indicating that need to walk away. And it feels like we're walking away from something where we were with other people collaborating. But I'm getting a little bit of like a contradictory message, because I also have this continuance card, which is about things staying the same and continuing to get closer with other people and bond more with people. So I feel like there's two messages here, and that's that something is needing to be left behind or walked away from, and then something is being continued. So hopefully you know what that is, or if it's talking about especially like people in your life, because you have Venus and Mars conjunct in the 7th house, squaring Uranus in the 4th. If there are certain people in your life that need to have some kind of, like, maybe you need to walk away from in some kind of respects, then this could indicate that. But then there are going to be, of course, other people in your life where you're continuing to have relationships that are really supportive and that maybe you even become closer with as a result of having more time on your hands, or having better priorities, and, you know, having gratitude for the right people in your life. With the Eight of Cups and Three of Pentacles as the clarifier, I really feel like there's something that you were building with someone, something that you were creating with someone or working with someone, that the current dynamic is not really working. And it's like it doesn't have the proper planning and foresight and longevity to it. And as a result, it's time to have some kind of self-respect or focus on the self again, and step away from this thing that you were building with somebody, or step away from that connection. So it's really about releasing something, relinquishing something, realizing that what's best for yourself in the long term is not that thing. But again, there's still this energy of continuance as well with this one card. So there's still things in your life that you are maintaining and continuing to invest in instead. So it's like redirecting the focus and the energy to the things that really, really do matter. And I am seeing something come up with the Six of Cups, the Two of Cups, the Emperor. And this beautiful moon is making a trine to Jupiter in the 4th. So this is trying to help you create a lot more emotional well-being. It does give you the opportunity to feel like your home life is improving, or you have some kind of growth in the area of home, or some kind of luck, home, family, emotions. But it also has to do with your family and past and history. So there is something around this area that I feel like is actually coming back to life in some kind of way. So maybe you've been having like issues with your family, and those are going to start improving and you get to go see them. Or maybe you are just feeling like you are enjoying your like home life more, and you're feeling more emotionally satiated, and that's starting to improve. But there's something around your past coming up here in a way that actually feels really, really good. So I don't know if that's like you're seeing family, or there's people in your life that feel like family, or you're having old memories, or you're visiting old friends. There's something about like either a really long standing connection or someone you used to know or you used to see. There's something about that that's coming back up for you that I think can provide you a lot of solace and emotional support, and just it could just feel really, really nice. Something else I'm seeing with the Six of Cups followed by the Two of Cups and the Emperor, I feel like there's something that is trying to bring you into more of your own essence and your own strength here with this Emperor than Two of Cups. So Two of Cups is a soulmate energy, and next to the Emperor, I feel like you guys, this could be talking about your relationship with yourself, especially. Although, okay, I'll come to that in a second. Because the Two of Cups and the Emperor is really about, I feel like, having your shit together, but loving yourself as well. So it's like, I don't know, there's feels like there's dignity coming through. And as I mentioned before, like self-respect, and really, really doing something, or processing something, or leaving something, or making changes in your relationships or something in your life where it's bringing about more of that dignity and respect and alignment with yourself and more self-love. And Venus and Mars in the seventh, again, can call to have a rebirth and a change in your relationship sector, which could affect your home and your family situation, your emotions. But it's ultimately trying to bring you to a really like solid and stable place, and one in which you have a lot more maybe authority over your life, or feel like you are more in control, like you have more of a plan, like you are doing what is best for yourself, that you know how to take care of yourself and love yourself. And this could then in turn improve your relationships. So it's almost like you become more solid in yourself and more stable financially, emotionally, with your plans about the future. It's like you're stepping a little bit into a masculine energy. And that is allowing you to say no to what you don't want, to set certain boundaries, have certain respect, and attract the right kind of energy into your relationships. So that's what I feel like I'm seeing here, is a lot of kind of having your own back and this solidness that I think is really going to help you grow. And then you can continue to invest in the right people for you who will match that energy. So that is what I'm seeing, Aquarius. If this resonates, please don't forget to comment down below, because I love to read your comments and see if it does apply to your life and how, because that always helps me and probably other people as well. If you want a reading from me, check me out at willowsboom.com. And if you don't mind, please hit like, subscribe, and share with your friends so that more people can find this. Thanks. Bye. All right, and last but never least, we have Pisces Rising and Sun. This full moon in Capricorn is happening in your 11th house of friendships, community, belonging, even future goals and aspirations. And it's making a beautiful trine to Jupiter in the third. So I will say, in terms of networking, this is your best possible moment. You are given the green light, the blessing, the go ahead to feel like something can drop into your lap. The right person can say the right thing at the right time. You guys can have a beautiful conversation that will set you up for success. People could maybe even give you something charitably or connect you with the right person. There's something going on here where your relationships, your communication, your friendships, all of those things have the potential to feel like they're reaching some kind of peak or some kind of convergence where you're starting to see something bloom. So maybe you're having a realization about your friends, and you're having conversations that bring you closer. Maybe you're having goals that people help, again, bring you to. Maybe they connect you with different friend groups. Like, I really feel like there's something around your relationships and where you're wanting to go in life that starts to align a little bit more here. And it's funny because one of the things, the first cards that I pulled were fertility and protection. And there's really this energy around something that you're wanting to birth or to bring to life is being protected and saved right now. So if you were worried that something that you really, that something that you want isn't going to happen or isn't available or is going to be hard or is going to be affected by something in your life, there's a clear message right now for some of you that whatever you're wanting is very safe and protected, even if it's bubbling underneath the surface, even if the seed was just planted, even if it's delicate. There feels like something not visible, because this onion, I think, is a root. Onions are roots. So if there's something about it where I feel like it's growing as a root underneath the surface and it's going to pop up, and until that time where it's strong enough to stand on its own, it's going to be protected. So maybe don't share it with everyone, but the universe will also come in and protect it in ways that you need to know that it will be. And I think part of that protection is having the right and necessary support, having the right ideas come to you, having the right visions, having the right conversations. Again, people, relationship connections to bring this to life and help you protect it along the way. Something else I'm seeing is this Venus and Mars is conjunct in your 6th house, squaring Uranus in the 3rd. So there may be some need to kind of change the way that you operate in your day-to-day life, routine, and work in order to make space for maybe more of that networking and connections that is actually going to help you bring this dream to life, or whatever this thing is, to life. So let's say, for example, you're really, really busy at work and you don't have time to meet new friends. And so you're kind of getting stuck in your mundane routine. This is saying you need to break out of that and meet new people so that you can make those proper connections. And maybe, who knows, maybe that will also lead you to certain goals that you have, or maybe the relationships themselves are the goal. But regardless, you're needing to create more space. I'm really feeling that, more space for you guys. So that's the message from the astrology, but I feel like the cards are kind of separate here. So I pulled the Hanged Man and then the Tower. And to clarify the Hanged Man, I got the Knight of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles. To clarify the Tower, I got the World. So I really feel like with the Knight of Wands and Queen of Pentacles, there's something around work that you are currently giving yourself to, that maybe you're in charge of or have kind of like some say in. There's like something in your work or your daily responsibilities where you are a little bit more of a leader and you have more flexibility, and it's saying that you need to pause that, or again have a different outlook on it. So the current way that you're going about it needs to either shift, or the current perspective needs to shift. And again, I think this is related to making space for either more friendships, the more potentials for networking, for getting people to support your dreams, for creating more friendships, belonging, all of that. And then the Tower was clarified by the World card. So I really feel like you're ending some cycle here. It's almost like when you start to make space for this and you network or meet more friends, it's ending some really clear cycle in your life. Like maybe an old cycle of where you said you kept wanting to do something and then didn't do it and then never made time for it. And then now you're finally making time for it, and it's like you never go back. You always make time for this thing now, and it continues to grow, and maybe it becomes an even more predominant thing in your life. Or maybe you haven't really had much friends, you felt more alone, or you felt disconnected from your friend group. And this is ending that cycle. Like it's truly giving you a fork in the road of you're doing this and it's going to forever kind of be a part of your life after this. That's what I'm seeing with this. The other cards I have are 5 of Cups, the Moon, 2 of Wands, and then the Magician and Judgment. So I really feel like with the 5 of Cups, the Moon, and the 2 of Wands, the 5 of Cups and the Moon really feels like an emotional lack in your life, and needing to make a plan in order to change that, needing to step up to the plate and decide that things will be different. Maybe you're feeling, again, like you're lacking emotional support, lacking friends, lacking specific goals, lacking hobbies, whatever it is. There's something in your life where I feel like you've been feeling it's a little bit more desolate or deserted, and you need to add life there, but you can't just like look at it and be like, oh, there's no life there. Well, that sucks. It's like you have to do something about it. You have to plant the seeds, water it, and let it grow. And you have to have also the awakening to realize that you are responsible, to realize that you can plant the seeds, that you can go to the store, choose what you want, and put the effort into it. So there's something here where it's not even just about the effort, but it's about the awakening and the realization around how you can finally actually get the thing that you want by making these big lifestyle changes. And they don't even have to be that big, but they're significant is what I'm trying to say. So that is what I'm seeing for you, Pisces. If that resonates, please comment down below. I love to read your comments and see how it correlates my readings to your life. That's really meaningful for me, and honestly the best part about doing this thing on YouTube. And I hope that you enjoyed this. If you want an astrology reading from me, check me out at willisboom.com. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends so more people can find my videos, and have a great day. Bye.